Imagine being told that the absolute best way to achieve supreme cosmic enlightenment.
The big secret to the universe, basically.
Right, the secret to uniting with the gods and understanding the infinite universe is to, well, avoid politics, hang out with trees, and eat whatever you want.
I mean, it sounds like a joke, doesn't it?
It really does. Because most of the time, when we think about writing down a life plan, we think, small and practical.
Yeah, terrestrial.
Exactly. A 5-year career trajectory, a savings goal, maybe finally committing to that gym routine. Our plans are contained.
We definitely prefer our operating instructions to fit neatly onto a spreadsheet.
Oh, absolutely.
We want measurable inputs, predictable outburns, and it's usually tied to very immediate, societal definitions of success.
But today, we're throwing the spreadsheet out the window.
Good riddance.
Right. Because in front of us, we have this translated manifesto titled My Life Position, written by an author named Zhu Feng. And this text doesn't start with a career plan.
No, it definitely does not.
It starts by addressing the entire universe. It is this complete, incredibly specific philosophical operating manual for the author's own existence. And frankly, it is one of the most audacious documents I've ever read.
It really is a remarkable synthesis of ideas. And I think our mission for you, the listener, as we embark on this deep dive, is to really explore the mechanics of this highly personalized worldview impartially.
Yeah, that's a crucial point. We are not here to write a biography of the author.
Right, nor are we here to endorse a specific ideology or, pass ethical judgments on the politics or anything like that. We're totally impartial here.
We just want to impartially report on the ideas provided in the source material.
Exactly. We want to look under the hood of this philosophy, because what you find is a text that blends ancient ascetic wisdom with some highly unique, incredibly massive cosmic ambitions.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I want to take you on a journey through a mind that is somehow attempting to reconcile extreme worldly detachment with an incredibly passionate, deeply felt love for life.
Yeah, love for life, for nature, for community.
It feels like the author is trying to have it both ways. And the mechanism they use to bridge that gap is just, well, it's wild to read.
It really is.
Let's start with the big picture, the foundation of this entire universe. Right out of the gate, the author establishes a spiritual framework that pulls from traditions that most of us would consider mutually exclusive.
Yeah, the text opens with references that span across vastly different theological landscapes. I mean, within just a few sentences, the author acknowledges that myriad gods know their name.
Polytheism, basically.
Right. But then they also state that reverence for the greatest creator uplifts their spirit.
So, monotheism.
Exactly. And then barely a breath later, they mention that supreme enlightenment comes through the guidance of gods and Buddhas.
So if this were a piece of technology, it would be like an open source spirituality.
Oh, I like that. Open source spirituality.
Yeah, the author is taking the operating systems of monotheism, the greatest creator, polytheism, the myriad gods in Buddhism, and essentially declaring, I'm going to run all of these on the exact same hard drive at the exact same time.
Which is wild because for most theologians, running those systems simultaneously would cause a massive system crash.
Totally. Total blue screen of death.
Yeah.
So how does the author prevent this cosmological framework from just, collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the text actually grounds that vast, almost overwhelming cosmic view in tangible everyday reality.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
The author prevents a philosophical system crash by unifying these concepts not in the heavens, but in the dirt.
In the dirt.
Yeah. You have all these soaring references to the sun and the moon, but then the author pivots immediately to the most practical cause and effect mechanics of living. Like, there's a direct quote, "Sow melons to reap melons, sow beans to reap beans, diligently practice, and head straight for the celestial realm."
Wait, sow melons to reap melons? That is such an intensely agricultural way to describe spiritual ascension.
It really is.
It brings the cosmos right down to the topsoil.
It highlights the underlying logic of the entire manifesto. I mean, the author is saying that the celestial realm isn't something you achieve just by thinking lofty thoughts.
Or sitting around debating which god is the most powerful.
Exactly. It's an agricultural mechanism of karma, or consequence. You do the daily diligent practice, you plant the physical beans, and that is the direct mechanical path to supreme enlightenment.
So you don't just float up to the celestial realm on a cloud of faith.
No, you farm your way there through daily action. You cultivate your body and mind day by day, choice by choice.
Wow. Okay, so if my spiritual enlightenment relies on my daily physical actions, like if I am literally farming my karma every single day, what happens when my farm borders someone else's?
Ah, right. The
Do-
neighbor problem.
Yeah, do I isolate myself to protect my spiritual crop from interference, or do I get involved with my neighbors?
Hmm.
Because this brings up a massive paradox in the text that I've really struggled with.
You're pointing to the tension between independence and obligation, which the author handles in a very unconventional way.
Okay, let's lay out the contradiction for the listener. Early in the text, there is this striking, definitive declaration. The author says, I do not join religions or political
Full
parties.
stop.
Full stop. They claim to live freely and gracefully. They advise you to stay completely away from disputes, to avoid wicked people. And they specifically warn, and I love this phrasing, in turbulent times, do not play the hero.
Yeah, it paints a picture of a total lone wolf.
Exactly. Someone consciously uncoupling from the messy, unpredictable drama of human institutions.
It is a radical detachment from structural society. Like you said earlier, the author is building a protective moat around their spiritual farm.
Right. But then, almost immediately, this supposedly detached lone wolf demands a level of communal loyalty that borders on the extreme.
It does seem contradictory at first glance.
It really does.
Hmm.
The text says we need to care for our neighbors like lips and teeth. We need to escort friends through wind and snow.
And honor the great kindness of teachers.
Yes, and serve them wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So how does that work in reality? I mean, if I care for my neighbor like lips and teeth, which implies that if my neighbor gets punched, my mouth bleeds, how do I avoid getting sucked into their personal dramas?
It's a great question.
Doesn't fusing myself to my community directly violate the rule to avoid disputes?
Well, the author resolves this tension by fundamentally changing the nature of the bond between people.
Oh, yeah, how so?
The rejection of religions and political parties is a rejection of top-down institutional hierarchy. The author doesn't want to be bound by a label, a dogma, or a structural power dynamic where someone else dictates who is an ally and who is an enemy.
Ah, I see. Meaning no membership cards, no tribalism, and no paying dues to a centralized organization.
Precisely. But rejecting institutional power does not mean rejecting human connection.
Right.
The text replaces vertical hierarchy with horizontal depth. There is a specific mandate in the text that outlines how to interact. It says, lead with the way, transform with virtue.
Lead with the way, transform with virtue.
Yeah, and it goes on to say you should nourish with strength, teach with wisdom, move with emotion, and convince with reason. You aren't taking on your neighbor's ego-driven disputes. You are providing foundational human support.
Oh, wow. So to put this in modern terms, the author is telling me that I should absolutely refuse to get into a screaming match on Twitter about a polarizing election.
Exactly, because that's a structural dispute.
Right. That's playing the hero in turbulent times. It's ego.
Yes.
But if my friend's car breaks down at 2 in the morning in a blizzard, I better be out there with jumper cables.
That is the perfect modern translation. It's macro detachment combined with intense micro-engagement.
Macro detachment, intense micro engagement. I love that.
You aren't caring for your neighbor because a political party or a religious leader commanded you to, to win an argument online. You are caring for them because you recognize a shared fundamental humanity.
It's an organic community.
Yeah, an organic community of kindred spirits where you inspire each other as equals. The boundaries are drawn around artificial drama, not around human need.
That makes so much sense. That's how you can refuse to play the hero in a turbulent political system, but still walk your friend through a blinding snowstorm.
It's rejecting the scaffolding of society, but fiercely protecting the soul of the community.
Okay, but if we are managing our social energy with that kind of intense precision, how do we manage our internal energy?
Ah, yes.
Because here's where it gets really interesting. This focus on finding a middle path extends into how the author treats himself, and the instructions for personal enjoyment are completely unexpected.
You're referring to the approach to personal pleasure and fate, which creates another fascinating dichotomy in the text.
Because if you only read the first half of this manifesto, you'd think this person was a complete ascetic, like a monk living on bread and water in a cave.
Right, the early advice is very austere.
Yet the author explicitly tells you to proceed and withdraw with measured steps. You are supposed to accept gains and losses as just the natural flow of the universe.
Which sounds very stoic.
Exactly. The mandate is to stay unmoved by joy or anger and accept that life and death are destined. It sounds rigid. It sounds devoid of passion. But then you turn the page, and you hit this absolute left turn.
The enjoyment clause.
The enjoyment clause.
Yeah.
The author explicitly states, "The greatest creator created me to enjoy life."
It's such a shift in tone.
It really is. They follow that up with, "Eat and drink as you please. Love and express affection as your heart desires. Do not dwell in dreariness or cling to vanity."
It's amazing.
I actually started calling this worldview Stoic hedonism.
Stoic hedonism. I like that.
Because on one hand, you have the Stoic acceptance of fate, life and death are predetermined, don't get angry, let the universe decide success and failure. But then you have this hedonistic command to eat, drink, and love as your heart desires.
It's a very unique combination.
But I have to play devil's advocate here. How hard is it to practically live this?
Oh, it requires a massive psychological shift.
Right, because if I'm supposed to love as my heart desires, what happens when my heart gets broken? Isn't a breakup a dispute?
Well,
How can I be deeply passionately moved by a great meal or a profound romance, but somehow remain totally unmoved if I lose my job? How does a human brain compartmentalize that without just shutting down entirely?
if we connect this to the bigger picture of the text, the mechanism for this Stoic hedonism relies entirely on how the author views the natural world versus the human world.
Okay, break that down for me.
You disconnect your emotional well-being from artificial human constructs like your job title, your social status, your bank account, and you reconnect it to natural biological realities.
So the stuff we build versus the stuff the universe built.
Exactly. In many ascetic traditions, the physical world, your cravings, your body, they're seen as traps, things to be transcended or punished. But this manifesto takes the exact opposite approach.
The physical world isn't a trap. It's a divine gift.
Yes. There is that beautiful section about nature where the text states that mountains and rivers shelter the body and that flowers and trees are neighbors and friends.
Oh, I loved that part. Hanging out with trees.
And it goes further, stating that livestock and birds nourish both body and soul.
Which goes back to the eating and drinking as you please.
Right. The author doesn't see asceticism punishing oneself or starving oneself of pleasure as a holy act. They explicitly say, do not go to extremes. Do not shortchange your existence.
Oh, do not shortchange your existence.
Yeah, to deny yourself the natural joys of eating an apple, drinking fresh water, and experiencing human affection would actually be an insult to the Creator who built this world for you to experience.
So the societal stuff, the promotions, the rumors, the political turbulence, is seen as a manufactured game that you cannot control.
And so you remain completely unmoved by it.
But the sensory input of a sunset or the taste of good food is a direct gift that you can control, so you dive into it completely.
Exactly. Harmonizing with nature and actually enjoying life's natural pleasures isn't a distraction from the spiritual path. It is the path.
It's farming your karma.
Yes. You don't let a bad day at work ruin your mood because that's just the unpredictable flow of artificial society, but you absolutely savor your dinner.
I love that.
You love the act of loving without attaching your ego to the possession of the person or the outcome of the relationship. It's experiencing the verb while detaching from the noun.
Experiencing the verb, detaching from the noun, Stoic hedonism. Let go of the ego, but eat the good food.
Precisely.
It sounds like a beautifully quiet, peaceful existence. Hanging out with trees, eating well, keeping out of arguments, and helping your friends in the snow.
It really does.
If the manifesto ended there, it'd be a fantastic lifestyle blog.
Yeah,
But it doesn't end there.
not at all.
It builds to a climax that is literally universe-altering. We are perfectly detached from society, perfectly attached to nature, but the person isn't just sitting in the woods forever.
No, the scope expands exponentially in the final sections. The quiet life is revealed to be the foundation for something monumental.
We get the grand reveal.
Yeah.
This isn't just a personal diary of someone trying to live a stress-free life. It is a mission statement for an entirely new reality.
A new epoch.
Yes, the author introduces this concept of the Lifechanyuan era, and they declare that this era is actively taking shape, a time where heaven and earth resonate and humanity yearns for it.
The text moves from the microscopic actions of an individual to the macroscopic fate of the cosmos.
And what is the author's role in this massive cosmic shift? They aren't sitting in the audience. They declare, guiding the Chanyuan celestials fulfills my mission in life.
That's quite a statement.
It is. The goal is supreme,
Okay.
to unite with gods and Buddhas, to align with celestials and sages, all so that the entire universe can rejoice together in this new era.
Well, this raises an important question about the nature of human ambition within this philosophical framework.
Because it seems completely contradictory again.
Exactly, because we really have to track the psychological progression here. This is an author who earlier stated, do not play the hero, do not envy glory, and do not take crooked paths.
Right. They advocate for living simply, almost invisibly, alongside flowers and trees.
So how does a mind go from that profound, quiet humility to suddenly claiming that their personal mission is to usher in a new cosmic era and unite with Buddhas?
It's jarring.
To a modern reader, that seems like an unimaginable leap of ego.
It feels like the ultimate contradiction. I was reading it thinking, didn't you just spend 10 pages telling me to avoid the spotlight? And now you're the guide for the Celestials?
Right.
Let's explain the causality here. How does eating an apple mindfully and helping a friend with jumper cables somehow trigger a new epoch for humanity?
You have to look at how the author defines the mechanics of the universe itself. There's a pivotal line. The universe's mysteries are infinite and boundless. Explore them wholeheartedly to live life to its fullest.
Okay, infinite mysteries.
In this cosmology, the macro and the micro are a closed loop. The new era doesn't arrive from the sky like a lightning bolt. It is generated from the ground up.
From the topsoil again.
Yes. Every time an individual sheds their ego, avoids a petty dispute, and aligns with nature, they are literally changing the frequency of the human collective.
So it's about resonance.
Yes.
Right.
Think of it like a massive tuning fork. To the author, humility doesn't mean making yourself small and useless. It means submitting entirely to the way and to the heavenly principles.
So you aren't removing yourself to do nothing.
Right. Once you have removed your own petty vanity and societal conditioning, you are essentially plugging yourself into the power source of the universe. You are vibrating at the frequency of the cosmos.
Oh, wow.
And when enough people do that, when they farm enough karma, it reaches a tipping point that ushers in the Lifechanyuan era.
It makes me think of surfing.
Surfing.
Yeah, like the author isn't trying to build a massive, noisy motorboat to conquer the ocean, which would be worldly ambition and ego.
Right, a motorboat fights the water.
Exactly. They are simply trying to become the absolute perfect surfer in order to catch a wave that the universe has already generated.
Oh, that's good.
The ambition isn't in creating the power. The ambition is in perfectly aligning with it.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. The ultimate humility submitting to the wave loops around to become the ultimate ambition, riding it perfectly.
Because you're riding a cosmic wave.
Yes. The text says, if you have the ability, move forward at full speed, seize opportunities, and see things through to completion.
Move forward at full speed.
The ambition isn't for personal wealth or worldly glory, which they explicitly reject. The ambition is to fulfill a divine mandate. If the universe's secrets are vast, then exploring them and leading others to that enlightenment isn't arrogance. It's just doing the job you were designed to do.
So guiding the Celestials isn't a power trip at all.
Not in this framework, no.
It's just the natural, inevitable progression of sowing melons to reap melons. If you practice daily, clear your mind, love your neighbors, and enjoy the physical world, you inevitably become a guide for this new cosmic era. Because you are the one who knows how to surf.
That's the undeniable logic of the text. It's a cosmology where the quietest, most peaceful life is simultaneously the most universally significant.
It really redefines what it means to be important.
It does. Every small act of filial piety, every moment of natural affection is a brick in the foundation of the Lifechanyuan era. The microcosm of your Tuesday morning and the macrocosm of the universe are completely mirrored.
It is a breathtaking way to view your own existence.
Truly.
To think that your daily choices, whether to argue online or help a neighbor, whether to stress over a title or just enjoy a really good meal, are literally echoing in the heavens and shifting the frequency of the world.
It gives so much weight to the mundane.
It does. So what does this all mean for you listening to this right now? I want you to imagine sitting down with a blank piece of paper to write your own life position.
That's a great exercise.
What rules would govern your universe? If you had to write the operating system for your own mind, would you prioritize the ultimate cosmic truths, trying to align yourself with the vastness of the universe? Or would you focus purely on the ground level, making sure you just escort your friends through the wind and snow?
It's a compelling thought experiment, and perhaps the most powerful takeaway from our exploration of this text is that we don't necessarily have to choose between those extremes.
Right, they aren't mutually exclusive.
Exactly. The author found a way to perfectly integrate total surrender to fate, the belief that life and death are destined, and that we should remain unmoved by the chaos of society with an absolute full-speed ambition.
If you have the ability, move forward at full speed.
We normally think of those two concepts, acceptance and ambition, as complete opposites.
Oh, totally. You're either a fighter or you're a pacifist.
Right. We assume that if you accept your fate, you must be passive. You just let life happen to you. And if you are ambitious, we assume you must be constantly fighting against the current, battling for every inch.
Exhausting yourself.
Yes. But this manifesto offers a completely different paradigm. What if acceptance and ambition are actually complements?
Oh, I like that.
What if the only way to truly go full speed in your own life is to first entirely accept the things you cannot control? When you no longer waste your energy fighting the inevitable or craving the empty vanity of society, perhaps that is the exact moment you finally have the momentum to explore the infinite mysteries of your own existence.
That is something to chew on. You can't sail if you're constantly fighting the wind, but the second you accept the direction it's blowing, you can use it to go absolutely anywhere.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating mind behind my life position. We warmly invite you to keep questioning, keep exploring the mysteries of your own world, and maybe, just maybe, take a moment today to truly enjoy the trees. We'll catch you next time.